At 12, Henry Ford's mother died. He said later the house was like a watch without a mainspring. The boy took watches apart on the kitchen floor, not to fix them, to see what made them go. His father wanted him to farm. The boy wanted to know why the mainspring tightened when you wound it, and what happened if you wound it past the mark. He broke 3 watches before he learned to put one back together. The third one ran faster than before. He had removed a gear the manufacturer thought was necessary. The watch kept better time with fewer parts. The boy kept the extra gear in his pocket. Iron? Worn. Useless now. He carried it for years. He was 23 when he first saw a gasoline engine. It did not work. That was the interesting part. The engine sat in a workshop on Woodward Avenue. A German design. Too heavy. Too complicated. The men who built it had copied another engine that also did not work well. The copy of a broken thing. Ford stood there for an hour. He did not touch it. He watched the way the piston seized, the way the exhaust valve stuck open, the way the whole machine fought its own weight. The German engineer had solved a problem by adding parts. Ford saw a different problem. The weight was the problem. The complexity was the problem. The copying was the problem. The machine was fighting itself because no one had asked if the original design was worth copying. He went home and drew a different one. Not better. Different. The gear on the bench does not turn because it is perfect. It turns because it fits. You learn to copy before you learn to think. Someone showed you the right way to hold the pen, the right way to answer the question, the right way to show up. You copied it. The copy worked. The copy kept working. You kept copying. The copy became your hand. The copy became your voice. The copy became the way you know you are doing it right. You do not know what right means anymore. You only know that this way has not failed yet. The gear turns. You turn with it. Every time you solved a problem the way you were taught, you confirmed that your own way was wrong. Not because it failed, because no one had shown it to you first. The method outlasted the teacher. The teacher is gone. The method is still here. You are still here. The gear still turns. The load increases. The friction builds. You check the clock before you check yourself. You have never been late. You have never been early either. The gear that turns on time every day forgets it can turn the other way. The gear turns because it is fitted. The hand turns it because it chooses to. The man who taught you is not coming back. The gear he built is still turning. You are still turning with it. You call it work. You call it discipline. You call it survival. It is a copy of a copy of a copy. Each generation loses a little more detail. Each generation adds a little more weight. The gear still turns. You still turn. The machine does not notice the difference. You wake up. You make the coffee. You go to work. You answer the emails. You say the right things at the meeting. No one notices anything wrong. The world doesn't stop. The machines keep running. The payroll gets processed. The sun comes up. And you start to believe that if you keep your hands busy, your schedule full, your mind occupied, you won't have to feel the silence where something used to be. So you build. In 1893, Henry Ford built his first engine on his wife's kitchen sink. Clara held the gasoline pipe steady. He turned the flywheel. The sink was porcelain. The engine was iron. The kitchen was where they ate breakfast. There was no workshop. There was no permission. There was the pipe, the sink, and the question of whether a man could build a machine where his wife washed dishes. The engine coughed. Clara did not let go of the pipe. The force that started it belonged to both of them. He had failed twice before this. 2 companies, 2 sets of partners, 2 gears that stripped before they caught. The Detroit Automobile Company collapsed in 1900. The Henry Ford Company collapsed in 1902. Men walked away with their investment. Ford walked away with the drawings. The load did not decrease. The load shifted to the one gear that kept turning. He was 30 when the second company failed. He was 35 when the kitchen engine ran. 5 years. The same 5 years you have spent learning a job you already know how to do. Ford did not build a better copy. He built a lighter engine. He built a simpler engine. He built an engine that did not fight its own weight. The German design had 40 parts. His had 12. The German engine weighed 200 pounds. His weighed 80. The difference was not intelligence. The difference was refusal. He refused to accept that the right way was the only way. Ford Motor Company started in 1903 with $28,000 cash and a lease on a barn. No bank loans. No partners who wanted quick profits. He kept control. He kept the vision simple. One car, one price, one way of building it that got cheaper every year. The Model T came out in 1908. 15 million sold over 19 years. He kept the gear from his first engine. Worn iron. Faint oil sheen. It sits in a museum now behind glass. The card says, First Ford Engine 1893. It does not say that the engine ran for 30 seconds. It does not say that 30 seconds was enough. It does not say that the man who built it had already failed twice and would fail again and kept the gear anyway. It does not say that the gear was one of 12 and that the other 11 were thrown away and that this one survived because he could not throw away something that had turned. The boy who removed the extra gear from the watch grew into the man who removed 28 parts from the engine. The same hand. The same question, what happens if I take this away? You don't need a workshop. You need a sink. The gear that waits for the right bench never turns. The gear that turns on the wrong bench changes what the bench is for. The kitchen sink is still in Greenfield Village. You can stand where Clara stood. You can see where the pipe fit. You can see that the room where you are allowed to begin is any room where you refuse to wait. Tomorrow, before you check your phone, find one thing you do because that is how it is done. The route to work. The order of your morning. The way you answer emails. Pick one thing. Break it for one day. Not improve it. Break it. Do it wrong on purpose. Notice what happens. Notice who notices. Notice if the world ends. It will not. Then find something in your house that doesn't work. A drawer that sticks. A hinge that squeaks. A clock that stopped. Fix it. Not because the world needs another repaired drawer. Because your hands need to remember that broken things can be fixed. Spend 10 minutes. No phone on the bench. Just the thing that is broken and the question of what is keeping it from working. Ford did not start in a factory. He started on a kitchen floor. He started with a watch that had too many gears. He started by removing what everyone else thought was necessary. The first engine ran for 30 seconds on a porcelain sink while his wife held the pipe. That was enough. He built the next one. The next one ran for a minute. The one after that ran until Clara stopped holding the pipe and started holding his hand. The mainspring broke when you were 12, or 22, or 42. You're still ticking. I innovate where others imitate. I innovate where others imitate. I innovate where others imitate.